deep dive.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one today.
So you're thinking about taking the leap, huh? Ditching that 9 to 5.
Taking the plunge.
Becoming your own boss.
Yeah.
Freelancing.
Ooh, freelancing. Sounds exciting.
It does. It does sound exciting. And we got this question from a listener. How can I start freelancing? Short and sweet.
Yeah, straight to the point.
Straight to the point. But it's kind of a big question when you think about it.
It is a deceptively simple question, isn't it?
It is. Where do you even begin?
Well, I think it's fascinating, actually, how much this single question reveals about the mindset shift that's needed for successful freelancing. Because they're not asking if they can start, they're asking HOW.
Right.
And that speaks volumes about the proactive nature of this whole journey. It's about taking charge and, building something awesome.
Totally. Okay, so that how, that's what we're diving into today.
Exactly. We're tackling the how.
Where do we even begin with that?
Well, instead of just jumping right into finding your first gig, I think it's crucial to really take a step back and think about who you are as a freelancer. What unique skills and passions do you bring to the table?
So you mean just figuring out what you're good at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just some feel-good exercise, though. A clear understanding of your strengths. That's the foundation of a solid freelance career.
Okay, so self-awareness is really key here.
It's super key. And you can actually get really strategic about it. Have you ever heard of a SWOT analysis?
SWOT analysis?
Yes.
What?
So it stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Okay.
You've probably heard of it. It's a classic business tool. But it's incredibly powerful for freelancers, too.
Interesting. I have heard of it, but I don't know that I've ever really sat down and done it. So how would you apply that to freelancing?
Okay, so imagine this. You're listing out your skills. So writing, coding, designing, whatever it is that you're great at, those are your strengths. Weaknesses could be things you struggle with, like maybe time management, or you don't like marketing yourself.
Right.
Then we got opportunities. Those could be emerging trends in your field or untapped client bases, things like that.
Yeah.
And then threats. Threats are things like intense competition or evolving technology that could maybe disrupt your niche. So basically laying it all out like this can really help you identify your, competitive edge.
That's cool. That makes a lot of sense. It's like you're taking a magnifying glass to your skills, but also the market itself, right?
Exactly. And once you have that clarity, then it's time to talk about finding your niche.
Okay. Yeah, because you wouldn't open a bakery without knowing how to bake or what kind of treats people actually want.
Right. The perfect analogy. It's the same with freelancing.
It is. You need to figure out what kind of delicious freelance dish you can create that people are going to pay for.
You got it. And just like a successful bakery needs to stand out in a crowded market, you need to carve out your own space in the freelance world.
Right.
And that's where niche selection gets really interesting.
So how do you go about finding that perfect niche?
Yeah.
Because it feels a little overwhelming, honestly.
Yeah, it can be, but the best way to think about it is where your passions and skills intersect with market demand.
Okay.
So do some research on freelance platforms, what kind of services are in high demand, but not oversaturated. Are there any emerging trends that you could tap into?
Okay, so it's kind of this balance of following your heart and also being really savvy about, market trends.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And don't be afraid to experiment. You might start with one niche and realize it's not quite the right fit.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay. Freelancing is all about, constantly learning and adapting.
Okay, so we got self-awareness, we got niche selection. What comes next?
All right, so the next step is to create a killer portfolio. Think of it as your freelance resume. It's how you showcase your skills and experience to potential clients.
That makes sense. But what if you're just starting out and you don't really have a ton of paid work that you can put in your portfolio?
I get that a lot. And that's where things like personal projects, volunteer work, or even creating spec work come in. The key is to have tangible examples that demonstrate your abilities.
Okay.
So even if it's not paid work, it's about showcasing your talent.
Yeah, so you can prove that you can do what you say you can do.
Exactly. You gotta have the goods, right?
Right. So where do platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, all those fit in?
Oh, those are great. They can be a great way to get your feet wet, especially when you're building your portfolio.
Okay.
Think of them as your, digital storefront.
Yeah.
So craft a compelling profile, highlight your best work, and start bidding on projects that align with your niche.
So it sounds like there's a lot of hustle involved, especially in the early stages of freelancing.
It's definitely not a passive endeavor. Marketing yourself, networking, consistently delivering high quality work, all that's part of the freelance game.
Right. So to kind of sum up everything we talked about, starting freelancing, it's about way more than just getting that first gig.
It really is.
It's understanding your strengths, identifying your niche, building that strong portfolio, and putting yourself out there.
Yep. And remember, you're not alone in this journey.
Oh, right.
There are tons of online resources, communities, even mentors that can help you navigate the freelance landscape.
Cool. Well, I think this has been super helpful. We unpacked some of the key steps to starting a freelance career.
We did.
Anything else we should keep in mind? What's the most important thing?
That's a great question. I would say the most important thing is to find your own rhythm. Freelancing is all about flexibility and creating a work style that aligns with your values and goals. It's not one size fits all.
That's a really great point to end on. So remember, every successful freelancer started with a single question.
Just like we did today.
Now go out there, find your niche, and make it happen.